Hello and welcome everybody. It's a pleasure to have you here on this fine fall day. Today is the start of the DV Green Card Lottery, and I am delighted to have you all on board today. We have several hundred people registered for the program, and I hope you will all be lucky winners. I hope you all like my little graphic there with the dice. That is a copy of a real green card for those of you who don't yet have one. And if you do have a green card, you're probably on the wrong webinar, because this is a webinar about how to apply for the green card lottery. Now, the application period will run through from October 1 today. You don't have to get it done today. Today we will feature all different aspects of the green card lottery. Regrettably, those immigrants from the major countries who provide the largest number of immigrants are not eligible to participate. So if you are born in China or India, for example, or Mexico or Canada or the United Kingdom, you are not eligible, and you are probably on the wrong webinar unless you happen to be married to someone from one of those countries, in which case you can both apply. And there are the remote rules of cross-chargeability, which will impact a small number of applicants. So today you will all learn about processing for the DV lottery. And let me start off by answering the million-dollar question. Do you need an attorney to make an application? And here's the good news. You generally do not need an attorney to make the formal application. Some of you prefer not to actually go through the hassle of getting it all right and making sure you comply with the technical details. And yes, we are helping folks out who need such assistance. You can email us if you are interested, or you can simply move forward and apply on your own. So there we are. We're ready to start our DV lottery. It's simple, really. The reason I gave this topic, this introduction is, you know, there's at least 10 or 15 questions that I could put to any immigration lawyer regarding the DV lottery, and they simply couldn't answer them. Issues like, is 245I applicable to the DV lottery? If you're applying for adjustment and you're out of status by 1 day, or you have 1 day of unauthorized employment, are you eligible to adjust status in the U.S.? Do you adjust, or do you immigrant visa process? These are highly complex and technical issues. However, most of those issues come up after you've been selected for the green card lottery. Approximately 100,000, repeat, 100,000 winning, in quotes, notifications will be sent out, of which only 50,000 green cards will actually be issued. By definition, 50% of winners are in fact losers. So the question is, if you are selected, how do you guarantee that you will in fact make it all the way through to the finish line? If you listen to this program, and by the way, it is recorded, so please feel free to share the link with your friends. We do a series of webinars at least once or twice a month. All of them are recorded. You can go onto our website and listen to them at your leisure. Today we will have the opportunity to ask questions, so please use your chat function. We will answer all of your questions, by the way, so go ahead and fire away with your questions, and we'd be happy to answer all of them today. Of course, this is a free webinar. The reason I say, is it that simple, is that, quite frankly, there are a lot of issues in regard to the DV lottery that are quite complicated. It is correct. The basic application is relatively simple, but there are so many corners that you can get yourself backed up into. So the question is, what is the diversity visa lottery? How does the program work? Basically, during the month of October, You can log on to the State Department website, submit an application, make sure you comply with the technicalities. Who can participate? We will explain the list of countries. Basically, if you have a high school diploma or you have 2 years of education, training, or experience in an occupation that requires 2 years education or experience, then you are eligible. These are rigid requirements. What do you do once you've been selected? That is where the complication really kicks in. Now, people ask me, well, should I apply for the lottery? Now, I live in California, and people ask me, should I apply for the California lottery? Well, you know, the California lottery basically has 1 or 2 winners. This program has 100,000 winners. And I'm going to brag. Of the people that have been selected and retained us, we are clearly in the high 90 percentile when it comes to converting selectees into green cards. So that is the issue where you have been selected. How do you make sure that you end up in the finishing line with a green card? So I'm going to talk about common issues and problems. And kicking away again, Immigration Act of 1990. This is not a new program. And by the way, there were lotteries even before the DV program, the so-called diversity program. This is designed to enhance and promote diversity. Yeah, sure, we don't have enough diversity in America. Actually, the program so-called balances those winners of the immigration game. The winners of the immigration game are primarily Asians and Latinos. The truth is that this program handicaps Asians and Latinos, and if you come from those particular regions, then in fact your chances of success are very bad. Here's the good news. If you come from Africa or Europe, the lottery is rigged in your favor. I shouldn't use the word rigged, but the bottom line is weighted. How weighted? Let's talk about heavily weighted. So if you are European-born or African-born, your chances of winning are reasonably good. Or if you are born in Asia, or if you are born in Asia or certain parts of Asia or South America, you really want to be chargeable through to Africa or Europe, in which case you have a decent chance. Now, 1 entry per person. Obviously, if you're a married couple, you have 2 entries. You double your chances of success. And if you cross-charge to Europe or Africa, you increase your chances of success substantially. So the window for registration opened today. Don't panic. It doesn't really matter if you're in the front or the back, but don't leave it to the last day, because sometimes the online registration is so jam-packed you can't even get in. No government fee to register. Now, I have to tell you, when you go online and you start Googling, you're going to find a whole bunch of websites. The overwhelming majority of those websites are scam operators. Scam operators designed to look like the State Department website. So if the suffix does not end with .gov, it is a fake website. So look for .gov, or you are not on the government website. Again, we do help people. I'm not going to do high sell here. You don't have to have an attorney to do this in most cases unless you have complications. But the simple bottom line is be very, very careful with the website that you do in fact register, because if it doesn't say .gov and it asks for money, then most likely it is a scam website, and who knows whether your application is really going to get in or not. So please be very careful. Deceptively simple. There are rigid requirements. Many of you have different spellings of your name, particularly if your native alphabet is not English. You know, how many different ways are there to spell the name Muhammad? Something like 45. And if the spelling on your birth certificate is different from the spelling on your passport, which one do you use? You use the spelling on your birth certificate. But of course, the spelling on your birth certificate is not in English. So get a correct translation. Those are automatic disqualifications if you in fact spell your name incorrectly. How often do I see that one? How about every single year? every single year I see winners disqualified because the name is not spelled correctly on the visa application. So please be very, very careful when you fill out the application. Make sure that the spelling you have is the spelling on your birth certificate and the official translation of your birth certificate, because the spelling in your passport is of no interest to me. The passport is not important. It is the birth certificate, place of birth, spelling on your birth certificate, which is absolutely critical. So we see many thousands of applications automatically cancelled every year because of failure to comply with the rigid technical details. So applicant must be a native of a qualified country. What does the word native mean? It is a broadly defined term. No, it doesn't mean that you are dressed inappropriately with limited clothing on. The term native basically means born in or chargeable to. So you can be chargeable to. Again, if I happen to be born in China and I'm disqualified, but my wife is born in Taiwan, then I have a winner. If in fact I am the children of missionary, for example, and my parents were on assignment in China, let's assume that my parents are European, they were on assignment in China as missionaries on a temporary basis or on a professional assignment, and I happen to be born in China purely by chance, I can still be cross-chargeable to either country, my mother or my father's country. That is called cross-chargeability, and basically I would qualify as a native of one of the European countries because my parents were temporarily in that country at the time of my birth. Unusual situation, but nevertheless need to be aware of it. Now, applicant must meet either the education or work experience requirement. I cannot overemphasize, if you do not have a high school diploma and you do not meet the work experience requirement, do not apply. Just do not apply, because you're going to have frustration. So don't bother. Even if you win, it's going to be an issue. So visa application, 50,000. Actually, the official number is 55, but it's reduced by another statute, NACARA. Very complicated formula. There are actually 6 separate lotteries. Yes, 6 separate lotteries. Where is Oceania? Oceania is Australia and Australia and New Zealand. By the way, those folks actually have the highest chance of success based on the number of people who apply and based on the number of winners selected. Oceania is the big winner. That is Australia, New Zealand, and a few other islands that qualify. So if you happen to be born in or chargeable to Oceania, fill out your application. Do not cash your check until you've been selected. In second place, Africa. Africa disadvantaged in terms of the number of immigrants that are provided, and Europe coming in third place. And of course, in fourth place, we have Asia and South America. What about North America? What are we talking about? Well, Canada is not eligible, so it's the Bahamas, and it's only a handful of winners. So there are numerous restrictions. No single country can receive more than 7%. I won't get into all those boring technical details, but folks, if your name is, your country of birth is listed here in paragraph 2, you're on the wrong webinar. Bangladesh, Brazil, Canada, China, mainland, Colombia, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, Haiti, India, Jamaica, Mexico, Nigeria added for the first time, Pakistan, Peru, Philippines, South Korea, United Kingdom except Northern Ireland, and its dependent territories are out, and Vietnam is out. Coming in today, South Sudan, the new country of South Sudan is there. Hong Kong, Hong Kong born, you're eligible. Macau, you are eligible. And Taiwan, you are eligible. Okay? So there's the good news. For those of you who are eligible, those of you who are not eligible unless you are married to or chargeable to one of those countries, this is not the correct program for you. So again, how do we determine native? Country of birth, obviously the easiest one. We're not interested in your citizenship. I do not care what your passport is. I do not care how many passports you have. I know it's popular to have 2 or 3 passports today. That is boring and of no interest to me. But your spouse's country of birth, well, you know, time to go out and marry an Aussie. Stop that, Bernie. But yes, we're not going to get married to apply for a green card, but if you are married prior to the application, you can be chargeable to that country. Please, that was a joke. Please do not take that seriously. Marriage has to be in good faith, and you need to show that you have commingling of assets. So don't get married just to apply for the lottery. By the way, and this happens every year, what's the fastest way to get a green card? Marry a lottery winner. Bernie, did you actually say that? Well, if you're already engaged and you plan to get married, you marry a lottery winner, you end up getting a green card within a few months. And numerous people do get married every year. The government is very hip to this, by the way. They actually put out a warning. So if you marry a lottery winner, make sure that you have good documentation to show that that marriage did not happen only to get a green card. Okay? So if that person wins the lottery and you get married, you better show that you bought a Tiffany's diamond ring for $50,000 3 months before. You better have that receipt for the engagement, and otherwise the marriage is merely to get a green card. Okay, parents' country of birth. I'm just mentioning the missionary exception. That comes up in some situations if you were born in a country where you were not regularly residing. If your parents were missionaries or on temporary assignment, we can cross-charge you. And here's another one. Oh my gosh, this is a good one. What is your country of birth? Well, believe it or not, borders change. Let's take the country of Poland. Part of Germany, part of Russia, part of nothing, part of this thing. So the question is, you take the city, for example, there's a city of Danzig, D-A-N-Z-I-G. It's changed countries a few times. The question is, what does the United States currently recognize? So the issue is not what you think you are. The issue is, what does the United States think you are, based on U.S. current recognition of that particular. So let's be a little bit controversial. There are those islands that Japan and China are having a good spat over. If you were born on that island and it belonged to Japan, then you can apply for the lottery. If you were born on that island and it belongs to China, you are not eligible. So this stuff gets a little bit complicated. I'm sorry I can't even mention the name of the islands. I forget them, but I think the islands are unpopulated, so you're probably not going to have that issue. But that is an interesting issue that comes up. So these are the rules of chargeability. This stuff gets complicated. I could spend a lot of time, but there are several ways to cross-charge. You can cross-charge from a non-eligible country to an eligible country. A South African married to a Brazilian, for example, you know, apply for 2 African tickets. To overcome per country limitation, some countries are backlogged. I use the example of a South African married to an Egyptian, well, Nigerians are out. But if your country has far more applicants, so you go with the country that has less winners. Cross-chargeable from a lower allocation region. So Argentinian marriage to South African, buy 2 South African tickets. You will increase your chances of success by, my math is probably off there, but I came up with 25,000%. That's probably off. Drop a 0 there. It's probably 2,500. But whatever, the bottom line is simply you are cross-charging from one region to the other, and then cross-charging to overcome rapid exhaustion. So, for example, someone who is born in Ethiopia, where there may well be a quota, versus Swaziland, where there's a very small number. This is all stuff that is quite complicated to do. If you have questions on it, email me. Be delighted to give you some advice. It's very hard to pick up the rules of cross-chargeability in 3 minutes, but there's the slide. This is going to be live, so you can go online afterwards, download the slide, study it carefully, and email me if you get stuck. Now, this is a big one. High school education, I mentioned this, only required for the principal applicant. This is important. The principal applicant is the winner. So if you are husband and wife and one of you is not working and one of you does not have a high school diploma, then the other person should apply. No point in having two applications. Completion of a 12-year course of study of elementary and secondary study. That's 12 years. You did 11 years, you're out of luck, folks. So you have to have the full high school diploma. Foreign education credentials required. The Department of State guidebook does provide specific information as to who qualifies. Vocational degrees, I always get this every year, vocational degrees do not work. Vocational degrees do not work. Vocational degrees do not work. Bernie, you said that 3 times. I know, I said it, but I have that problem every year. Degree evaluations, that's something we often do in immigration. Equivalency evaluations do not work. Repeat, equivalency evaluations do not work. Can I use a bachelor's degree or a master's degree? I never got a high school diploma. Can I use, how did I get a bachelor's degree? Well, adult education. Can I in fact qualify with a bachelor's degree or a master's degree even though I don't have a high school diploma? Well, technically, in the past, some people had problems with this, but obviously that is a case that can be argued. That's one you're absolutely going to need an attorney on. So alternative to a high school diploma, work experience. Now this is my favorite bugaboo. I have huge problems with this one absolutely every year. Huge problems with this work experience issue. The government regulations are wrong. I repeat, the government regulations are wrong. Who are you, Bernie Wolsdorf, to claim the government regulations are wrong? Well, I was there right in the beginning when they defined it. I can get technical, but they are requiring an SVP, standard vocational preparation, of 7. SVP of 7 requires 2 to 4 years of education, training, or experience. That is wrong. Basically, that sets it at a bachelor's degree requirement. If they were setting it as a bachelor's degree requirement, why didn't Congress say bachelor's degree requirement? Instead, Congress said 2 years of work experience in an occupation which requires at least 2 years of training or experience. So here, simple bottom line is that the government is knocking out every year qualified people based on their incorrect regulation and their guideline that you basically need a Zone 4 occupation. In my opinion, an SVP of 6, which requires 1 to 2 years of education, training, or experience, is adequate. Now, I realize I lost a lot of my audience with this technical stuff. Simple bottom line is that if you don't have a high school diploma, you're probably going to need a lawyer or someone who at least understands this argument, because if you win and you don't have a high school diploma, you had better be ready to argue that you have the appropriate work experience, or your winning ticket is a losing ticket. So unless you can show that you have work experience in the SVP, standard vocational preparation zone of 7, which is rather high, those are professional qualifications, you are out of luck. So that's why I say this program's really simple, isn't it? Well, it's not that simple. It's actually really complicated. So let's move forward for the EDV entry form. Family members provide information on spouse and all unmarried children under the age of 21, regardless of whether they live with the applicant or intend to immigrate under the program. Exception where the spouse or child is already a U.S. citizen or permanent resident. How many people get that wrong? Lots. So you need to provide information on the spouse and all unmarried children under the age of 21, whether they live with you or not, so that child that you have never acknowledged, that wasn't listed on the form, could well be the basis for your disqualification because you never listed that child. So there we go. Photographs. Try and get a photograph of your ex-wife. Scratch that, from your separated wife. Ex-wife we don't have to list, but you're no longer living with your spouse and you have to get a picture of her. Good luck, fellas. How are you going to get that picture? And it has to comply with the requirements. I've actually had poor folks who couldn't apply because they couldn't get a picture of their ex-spouse. What can I say? Send roses. maybe it'll work. I'm not sure it will. So the photograph has to be recent digital photograph of applicant spouse and each married child. So there you are. Go and get a picture of your 20-year-old kid who's off at college. You need that kid in order to apply, even if the child no longer lives with you or the child will not immigrate. So even if the child has no intention of immigrating, your 20-year-old child in the old country, we need a picture. That child won't provide the picture. You are going to get disqualified because your application is not complete. Make sure you comply with the technical requirements. Designate the country of chargeability. Got that one, folks? If you don't designate the country of chargeability on your application, so if you don't show that even though you're born in China and cross-chargeable to Hong Kong because your spouse is from Hong Kong, you are out of luck. Indicate your highest level of education, which is a high school diploma. If you don't have a high school diploma, you are going to be pretty much out of luck unless you have very advanced and specialized work experience within 5 years, 2 years of work experience within 5 years of actually applying. So there we go, 6 separate geographic regions. They coded accordingly: SA, South America, Asia. These will come out on your registration. 6 separate lotteries, 6 separate applications, each one with a different chance of success. Oceania, definitely number 1. In 2nd place for number of winners, Africa. In 3rd place, North America. In 4th place, South America. And in 5th place, Asia. And North America, which is just the Bahamas, handful, 5 or 6 applicants, winners a year. I'm not even going to rank it, but yes, if you come from the Bahamas, welcome. You can, in fact, apply. So how does the selection process work? KCC, that is not Kentucky Fried Chicken. That is the Kentucky Consular Center. The KCC routinely selects over 100,000. Yes, folks, 100,000 winning tickets. Why? Because they're going to knock out 50,000 of you. That's pretty tough statistics. You get this happy winning package. Every year we get these happy winners. And then comes September 30, we have 50,000 long faces. We have 50,000 sad cases. That just reminds me, I've done a blog, I need to publish it. There's a scam going on, folks. There's a huge scam. Not only those websites that rip people off because they fake look-alike government websites, but there are other big, horrible, nasty things going on in the lottery program. 50,000 people are notified that they win. They fill out the application form, they send it off. Registration, I believe, is $330 a family. I have 4 children. That's true. I have 4 children. Wife and 4 children. So let's do the math. I have to take off my shoes to count beyond 10 because I'm a lawyer. But we have 6 family members at $330 each. That's over $2,000. So I send off my check. And by the way, I come from South Africa. And I come from the poor part of South Africa. So $2,000 represents, my life savings. I cash in my life savings. I send it off to the State Department. And it turns out I don't have a high school diploma. And I don't have the advanced experience. Oh my gosh. Isn't that horrible? Or better still, I got a driving under the influence of alcohol conviction. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. I'm making that up. I do not have any DUIs. I swear to you, I do not have any DUIs. But for the hypothetical of today, I have 2 DUIs in the last 6 months. And I sent off my $2,000. And I don't have the final conviction record. And I have a very high number. And my interview is in September. And I did not put in a legal brief. And they think I'm a suspected alcoholic. And I lost my $2,000 because of my DUIs. So the moral of the story is don't drink and drive. No, the moral of the story is this program is complicated. I'm now talking about the rules of inadmissibility at the tail end. And what about overcoming public charge? Oh my gosh. So the government basically will knock you out for technicalities. The government will knock you out because you didn't fill out the application form correctly. The government will knock you out because you didn't include a picture of your separated spouse. The government will knock you out because on your passport, Muhammad has got 3 M's, and in your birth certificate, it's got 2 M's. Why do they do that? Well, they don't want duplicates. They're scared that you're going to submit one application under the 2M version and one application under the 3M version. And by the way, they're using scanning technology, facial recognition. That's why they want the picture. They're using facial recognition technology to scan the millions of applicants and build up this wonderful security database. Did I just say that? Yes, I just said that. So they've got millions and millions of people in the database over the last 25 years, all these guys from Afghanistan and Iraq and whatever who filled out the application. We have all this data on them, and we fill it out. Yeah, one year they wanted to scrap the DV lottery, and the security officials said, no, we like this thing. So, but 50,000 green cards every year, 100,000 visas, every notifications. Is this a scam, folks? No, this is not a scam. This is the real thing. Every year, 50,000 green cards are issued. Hey, by the way, there's a bill in Congress to scrap the program. Will that impact this year? No. Will it impact in the future? Maybe. Will the bill go through? People are saying it's less than 50-50. Bottom line is the lottery is alive and well. Okay, so let's look at the slide. Selection process. AF0001. That is Africa number 1. Yes, somebody is going to get that ticket. That is a very low number. If that person acts quickly, they will get an appointment for a green card interview very, very quickly. In the beginning of the immigration year, those guys who act quickly could get scheduled with a low number. If they have a high number, they will probably only be current in the month of August or September. And if your number only comes up on August or September and the lottery expires on September the 30th, you're telling me, Bernie, I've got 30 to 60 days to complete an adjustment of status? It takes 6 months to get an appointment for an interview in LA. How do you do that? 6 months to get an appointment in New York. Well, you have to expedite it. Plus, you can file up to 60 days earlier. How do you find out about all these things? Well, I don't know. Is there a good book? We've written some really good articles, by the way. There's one that I've written, 13 Reasons Why You Need an Attorney. Do you need an attorney to apply? Not really. Do you need an attorney if you win? You'd be nuts not to have one. Bernie, that's a self-serving statement. Well, I know, but it's justified. Bernie, will you stop talking to yourself? No, I love having conversations with myself. Okay, so visa bulletin. What is the visa bulletin? How do I find the State Department visa bulletin with all these with all this wonderful information? Well, we have something called Google. You can always go to travel.state.gov, travel.state.gov. Repeat, travel.state.gov. Or you can Google visa bulletin. It'll come up. At least in America, it'll come up. And then you can find out what your number is and your rank serial number, and you can find out when you want to apply, or you can go to a specialist. All right, so were you selected? There we are, dvlottery.state.gov. Now you can check online. Hey, by the way, check out our new blog, just got published today. Go onto our website, click onto the blog, and give you some very, very valuable information. Also links to some articles we've written on the topic. Why is this the DV 2015 program? You know, they have 3 lotteries running at every one point. Bernie, you are confusing me. What do you mean 3 lotteries? Well, this lottery is 2015. This is the fiscal lottery starting October 1 next year. The immigration year starts October 1 next year. So the simple bottom line is that is DV 2015. DV 2014 kind of finished yesterday. If you didn't get your green card by midnight last night, you are a Cinderella. Well, what's the Cinderella analogy? You turned into a pumpkin. You turned back into a dormouse. We all know the legend of Cinderella. And if you do not complete your program by September 30th, poof, back to a pumpkin. Your winning ticket turned into a dud. It went stale. You lost your $2,000 in filing fees. And you remember next time you win, what are you going to do? Call 1-800-VISA-LAW. Actually, that is my telephone number, 1-800-VISA-LAW, and we will then help you with the program. So now you've won. What do you do? What do you do? The DV lottery opens today. There's the valuable information. You can go on to our blog, connect.wolsdorf.com/question-P, or just go to wolsdorf.com and you can log on. Do you have to have an attorney to do this? No. Should you have an attorney if you win? Yes, yes, yes. Do you have to have an attorney if you win? Of course not. But I can tell you it's not that straightforward. And there's a race. The first 50,000 win. The other 50,000 often get depressed and feel ripped off because they spent thousands of dollars with lawyers' fees. Oh, I just mentioned, $330 each if you apply to immigrant visa process. I didn't mention adjustment of status fees. You apply to adjust. If I, with my family of four, $1,079 each, plus State Department fees, times 3 or 4, times 6, I just blew $6,000-7,000 on adjustment of status, government filing fees, and I didn't win. So welcome to the DV lottery. It's really simple, isn't it? Okay, consular processing versus adjustment of status. If you win, this is your number one question. Do you adjust status in the United States or do you consular process? Now, here's the rule. Generally speaking, I consular process. Now, in any other case, I go the other way and I recommend adjustment. The reason why, and I've got lots of reasons down there, but the problem is when you immigrant visa process abroad, a visa number has already been set aside for you. When you apply for adjustment of status, they do not order a visa number until the application is approved. So what does that mean? Well, interestingly, they ran out of first preference green card numbers at the end of September. If they run out of DV numbers at the end of September and you have your interview on the 29th and there are no more visa numbers available, you are out of luck. Your adjustment gets denied. What happens when your adjustment gets denied? You get put into removal proceedings. What's the other word for removal proceedings? Deportation. Wait, Bernie, you're kidding me. I filed for an adjustment of status in the U.S. I do not have valid underlying status. A visa number was not accorded. It's September 30th past. It is now October the 2nd. My case is going to get denied and I'm going to be put in removal. Are you kidding? No, that happens every year. How often does that happen? How about hundreds of cases? Wait a second. How about thousands of cases? How about thousands of sad Cinderellas? September 30th came, 50,000 people thought they were going to win the American dream, live the American dream. They already bought BMWs. They have little beach cottages with white picket fences. Come on, stop. The American dream, really? BMW with a white picket fence and a beach house and a country house? Really? Ha! You were in the other 50,000 and you didn't sign up for the lottery webinar and you made the wrong mistake. Wait a second. The wrong decision, which would be a mistake. You chose to adjust status instead of consular processing. On any other case, any marriage case, any employment case, if the person's in the United States, it's a no-brainer. I would always file for an adjustment of status if I can. But in the DV context, I like consular processing. However, little question here. You're consular processing, you back in your home country. Problem emerges, they cancel your non-immigrant visa and you are now stuck in London. They canceled all your visas. You applied for the lottery. Your case wasn't done correctly. You were missing a police certificate. One police certificate for that country you lived in when you were 18, and you forgot to submit that police certificate for Belgium when you were living there for a year. And what happens? They deny you adjustment. It's past September 30th. Oh my gosh. This is no fun. Bernie, you're making me nervous. Yeah, kind of. Probably on purpose. Potential pitfalls. We've got quite a few here. Applying to adjust in the United States when you've been out of status, unless you have 245I. What is 245I? You were grandfathered by filing for a green card prior to April 30th, 2001. Oh, this is easy, isn't it? You're applying abroad, but you had unlawful presence. Then you're subject to a 3 or 10-year bar. J1, you have a J1 and you are subject to the 2-year foreign residence requirement. You need a waiver of the 2-year foreign residence requirement before you are eligible. Criminal convictions, I already spoke about that one. Hey, you don't even need a criminal conviction. When you go for your medical, just tell the doctor you smoked marijuana 3 times in the last 6 months. See what will happen. Okay? What? I had a prescription. I live in California. It's legal. I live in Seattle. I got a marijuana prescription. Fine. Good luck to you. You go to tell the doctor when you do your adjustment, you will be denied. Repeat, you will be denied for drug abuse. But Bernie, it was legal. Yeah, go tell it to the judge. The bottom line is that's federal law, folks. So criminal conviction or even alcohol or drug abuse. Wait, Bernie, did you just tell me that if I drink 1 bottle of wine a day, every day, I could be denied a green card? Oh, yes. Go to the doctor, tell them you drink a bottle of wine every day, you are an alcoholic and therefore inadmissible. You have a boozing problem. Join AAA. AAA? No, AA. Alcohol Anonymous. AAA is when you need your car fixed. Hey, Bernie, stop being silly. Visa fraud and misrepresentation. Yep, you lied on a visa application. You are out of luck. Public charge. Oh, my gosh. Stop. Stop. Are you serious? Really? I have to show that I have income of $23,550 because I have a family of 4? Well, here's the bad news, folks. I have a family of 6. I got 4 kids. It's even higher. And if the consul believes I'm going to be a public charge, I'm in trouble. So wait a second. I'm born in a very poor country. I come from Swaziland. Probably this salary would put me in the top 10% of wage earners. I just knocked out 90% of the entire country's population because in order to win, I have to prove that I am not going to be a burden. I could be a public charge. I don't have a job in the U.S. I don't have money in the bank. I just spent all my money on visa fees. And now you're going to deny me? Really? Well, they can. Internet fraud and scams, well, there they are. They certainly exist. So, that smiling picture, why am I so happy today? Well, I hope you were moderately amused. We're going to go to questions. Use your chat function. I think we have quite a few questions. There's my telephone number. Please email me rather, lotteryinfo@Wolsdorf. Hey, by the way, little secret, visa law at Wolsdorf is my email address. So feel free to, wow, we have a lot of questions. We have a lot of questions. Okay, so Let's take these questions, folks. Does it cost anything to apply for DV lottery? No. You can apply online, and if you use our firm, yeah, we're going to charge you a fee, but you don't have to. If you're selected, you need a lawyer. Is age part of the selection process? Interesting. Let me remember that one. As long as you have a high school diploma, so presumably you are over 16 or 17, but what if you graduated at 15? Hello, I'm an international student. If I will play this lottery, will I have a problem with the visa when I go back home? Wow, congratulations to you. That's a great question. And here's the answer. There's a question, have you applied for an immigrant visa? Mary Ryan, let me get my brain right, issued an advisory opinion, Assistant Secretary of State, I believe it was in 2003, 10 years ago, May 21, 2003. I'm guessing at the date, but it was May. Yes, lottery is an immigrant petition. So when you apply for your visa, you need to disclose, yes, applied for DV. So the consul says, will you have immigrant intent? And you say, no. I always apply for these things. Merely applying for the lottery alone should not be a basis to deny a student visa. However, it is a relevant issue, and you do need to disclose it. Do you have to be born, or could you have been a European citizenship? No, born in. I live in the US and won the lottery under ranked serial number. Wow. I won't give away your number, but it's over 100,000. You have a very, very high serial number. Can you apply for change of status now? Or do you have to wait until your number is current? No, you can't apply to adjust status until your number is current. This is dangerous doing what you're doing. It is better for you to apply at your consulate back home. But what if you don't have all your documents ready? This thing, do you adjust? That was that slide number 15, if you've been out of status for 1 day. So if you are a DV 2014 winner, DV 2013's just finished. DV 2014 winners start getting registered in October. If you got a very high rank serial number, sorry, I'm doing a sales pitch here. You need professional assistance. Does it matter in which state I'm living? No. Is there any difference between those who are already in the U.S. and those who are not? No. Or between the job each person does? Yes. Unless you have a high school diploma. If you have a high school diploma, we don't really care about your job. If my birth certificate name is different language than English, yes, well, make sure. How do I translate it? Get it officially translated. Put some red stamps on it. Question, if I have two, I'm not interested in your nationality. Should I declare my nationalities? Yeah, you can declare them, but we're really only interested in where you're born. My name is X. I'll keep it confidential. In my passport, when they initially capitalized, it came under Y without a dot on the I. I wouldn't worry about a dot on the I. However, in the X language, even if it is capitalized, the initial is still with a dot. You're just better to follow your birth certificate. Follow the birth certificate. Always follow the birth certificate. Wow, that's a tough question. I'm a citizen of X. My wife is a citizen of X, even if she doesn't here. Yes. Okay, no. Your wife doesn't apply as, look, I'm going to mention the country, Spain. So you're born in Spain. Your wife is born in, let's say, China. You apply under Spain, and your wife applies under Spain, but she is cross-chargeable to Spain. So she applies under the European lottery, 2 European lottery tickets, bravo, good luck. What if you are an international student here? Can I apply and use the address here or one in your home country? Just make sure it's a permanent address. Yeah, I'm sorry. This fellow is born in China and I think he got it. He's left. He's not eligible. I'm sorry. I knew I was going to get some folks. Yeah, you got it. You're not on. On the DV instructions, it says we have to enter our name exactly as on the passport. But you mentioned, well, the question is the passport correct? If there's a conflict between the passport and the birth certificate prevails. I understand that's what the instructions say, but I've done a lot of these cases. Follow the birth certificate and get the passport corrected, by the way. If the passport is different from the birth certificate, that's a problem. Okay, I was born in Kazakhstan. I know where it is. Now I'm a citizen of Russia. Which country should I list? We're not interested in your citizenship. We're interested in your place of birth. You apply under Kazakhstan. The fact that you have a Russian passport is immaterial. What do we recognize today? We recognize the place where you were born as Kazakhstan, and you apply as a national of Kazakhstan. Please explain the work experience. Hey, I think I got that. Bottom line is, you better have very advanced level work experience if you don't have a high school diploma. If you have 2 years advanced education, training, or experience, if you win, you need to contact me. I'm a PhD student holding an F1. Would it harm my status? That was the question I got earlier. It won't harm your status, but you do have to disclose that you filed for it. Will it automatically knock you out? No. If the consul says, well, you applied for the lottery, that means you want to live, you've got to say, hey, but there's, millions of applicants. It was just a remote chance. If this is true, of course. I love applying for lotteries. I always buy tickets for the lottery. I never win anything, but I always buy tickets for the lottery. I do the Kellogg's lottery. I do the Grape Nuts lottery, all on my breakfast cereal lotteries. Never win anything, but I love doing lotteries. I don't think, and the State Department, in the letter from Mary Ryan, Assistant Secretary of State, May 2003, opined that it is an immigrant petition, therefore it needs to be disclosed. As a current college student with a substantial on-campus work experience, are the chances the same? Yes. Are they different from the region you are part of? Yes. Does an Hispanic college senior have a better chance than a Hispanic worker? No. As long as everybody has equal chance depending on place of birth. Can a married couple apply for two? Absolutely yes. You mentioned that Asia has bad luck. It's not bad luck, it's just a lower allocation. I'm from Singapore, and I'm currently living in the States with my boyfriend. Good. He has OPT visa. Well, yeah, well, apply. How can I apply? You can contact us, or you can go onto the State Department website. Oh my gosh, so many questions. I'm going to go faster. I have a quick question. Does a high school diploma have to be obtained in the U.S.? No. No, any high school diploma. Can you apply for a green card if you currently reside in the United States? I've been living here for 6 years now. Yes. Apply for the lottery if you're eligible. The application form requires an original birth certificate? No, 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 no. But if you win, you're going to need that to process. Do you know detailed number statistics of people who applied and who won from each region? Yes. It's on the State Department website. I summarized it. I want to know my chances. I don't know. You seem to have a European name, so you got a pretty good chance. It's a few percent European born, depending which country. I mean, if it's one of the big countries, fine. If it's like Belgium, it's 7% country per country, or Austria, a smaller European country. That may look like an Italian name. Italy, a reasonably decent chance. What do I need to participate? Contact us or go online. Hello, thank you for your information. You've got a lifesaver question. I'm from Venezuela, but I'm actually living in US OPT on the same stage of applying for jobs where I technically don't know where I'll be living. Yes, put your address in your home country. Yeah, be careful. Don't put your US address. And anyway, you have to go online and check. So doesn't really matter that much anymore. Just use your home address. My birth certificate name is different from my passport name. Yeah, change your passport. Deportation, even if you're in the country lawfully. No, that was a good question. If you're in the country lawfully and you maintain your status, then you won't be put in deportation. Can I apply for asylum and apply for lottery at the same time? Well, you're probably not in status, but yes. Just remember, you have to probably go back to your home country to adjust if you win. And as for your asylum, you need a well-founded fear of persecution. Do you have to go to the doctor to be checked after winning? Yes. You need to do a medical exam. That's one of the requirements. Hello, I have a bachelor's degree with European Bologna. That's the Treaty of Bologna method. Yes. When asked what is the highest level of education you have achieved as of today, should I put university degree? Yes. Yes. If your degree qualifies with the Treaty of Bologna, I hope I'm pronouncing that correct, B-O-L-O-G-N-A, that is recognized generally as a U.S. degree. I'm on OPT right now, and I should have an opportunity to apply for a work visa next year, but I also want to participate. Do I do both? Yes. What if I receive a work visa and I get confirmation that I won the lottery? Well, a work visa is great, but if you win the lottery as well, you get to flip over to a green card. Hurrah! Obtain J1 visa before applying? Oh, that's such a tough question. You know, there's no guarantee you're going to win. I'm born in the UK and one of my parents was born in Cyprus. Yeah, you may be cross-chargeable, but you have to show that your parents were temporarily in the UK. Are they still in the UK? If they're still in the UK, they probably weren't there temporarily. How does the federal shutdown affect the winning chances? Wow, good question. Well, USCIS is only going to limit a small number, lay off a small number. This, of course, is done by the Department of State. The Department of State, most of their employees are essential. I'm going to take a wild prediction and tell you that it won't affect the lottery. It won't affect the lottery because Department of State is essential. Wow, great questions. Are all winners selected at the same date? No, no. Winners are selected over a period of time. I'm applying for DV while F1. If I win, can I use adjustment of status? Maybe. Contact me if you win. If you're in valid status, F1 status, you might be eligible. It depends whether you have a high number or a low number. That's the slide number 15. Can you apply when you're on F1 student visa in the US? Yes. Would applying for DV decrease my chances of getting OPT? No. And a H1? No. Thank you. Oh, yeah, well, it's a pleasure. So go ahead and apply. What documentation do I need to have with me at the time I start completing? Nothing. You don't need all these documents. You don't need the birth certificate. How do I get the approved qualified birth certificate? Good question. Excuse me. Google the word reciprocity schedule. Click on your country of nationality. At the bottom of that, it will explain which documents, how to get your civil documents, and you can just look onto your home country. Wow, so many questions. When you said permanent address, should I use the address in my home country? I think it's better because students move around all the time. So just use your permanent address. You should be okay. Will the government be concerned about me not being able to find a job here and think that I'm going to become a burden? It's always an issue, public charge. I wouldn't panic over it. If I'm an Australian and my wife is Spanish, can I cross-charge her to Australia? Wow. Yes, yes, you can. If your wife is Spanish and you are Australian, because a limited number of Australians, this is a really, really tough one. You know, probably just, unless you're really good on cross-chargeability, you could apply as 2 Australian tickets, and you could say cross-charge to Australia, have your wife apply as cross-charge, make sure you do it correctly. Technically Australian, but Europe is also good, so that's only a marginal example. I currently work in the US on an E3, good. Is it okay to apply for the lottery? Yes, yes. Apply, apply, apply. My visa status OPT expires if I accumulate more than 90 days of unemployment, yes. Or work for 12. Is it dangerous to apply for a change of status? Well, yes. You need to contact me if you win. I am from Lithuania, currently have my year abroad in the US. Which country address do I use? Just use your permanent address. You're going back to the UK next year. Yep, list that one. If I have an associate in science in the US as an international student, should I put my college or university degree? Yeah, list your highest education. Do you need a J1 waiver before applying? No, I'm on a J1 and applying for a persecution waiver. Yeah, but you have to have that persecution waiver approved in order to file for adjustment. These are tricky cases. Thank you so much. It was really helpful. Oh, yeah, compliments. I like those. Perm resident since now 32, ready to apply for permanent residence. But I'm nervous because I have a conviction of a crime involving alcohol. Yeah, well, send us a copy of the final disposition. Do you need a lawyer? Yeah. I don't always say you need a lawyer, but I think so. I'm applying for an L1 at the moment. Good. I understand that it's dual intent and I can apply for residency, correct? Would it be easier simply to apply for green card down the road or to apply for DV and hope that I win? You know, it's always all of the above. Always all of the above. So, you know, you're going to apply for an L1, you want to apply for a green card, apply for a DV. Yes, all of the above. What is the typical financial statement? They kind of want to see tax returns. I've worked in an industry for 35 years, don't have a high school diploma. Does it qualify? Only if you've worked in a sophisticated position. We need to see an advanced level position. I'm on OPT now, plan to get a work visa. Am I better off using my US address? I think I got that one. I was born in Venezuela, but I'm a Spanish citizen. No. You have to apply in Venezuela. Yeah, another thank you. Well, thank you. There's all sorts of questions about legal fees. I hate discussing legal fees. I always say $1 million when I'm on live. $1 million. No, email us, folks. We'll quote that online. I'm applying for an investor visa. Can I also apply for DV? Yes. If my girlfriend is pregnant by the time I apply, should I put that I have a child or not? Wow. Tell the truth. You don't have a baby yet, but congratulations. Congratulations. I'm old-fashioned. Why don't you marry her? Propose. Go to Tiffany's. Buy a ring. Big ring. Sorry, Bernie. Stop interfering. May you say again where to find out information about the official birth certificate? Yeah. Google the word reciprocity schedule. R-E-C-I-P-R-O. Reciprocity, C-I-T-Y. I hope I got it right. Reciprocity. Google reciprocity schedule. The State Department will pop up. Click on Italy, and then right at the bottom, it will have how to get an Italian birth certificate. Thanks. Pleasure. Can I apply with A2 visa? Wow, another good one. Diplomat. Yes, you can apply on an A2, but before you are eligible, you have to surrender your diplomatic status. Don't adjust status. Immigrant visa process. It's too difficult to surrender in the U.S., so we just send you back to your home country. Call me if you win. Hey, I'm going to say it differently. Call me when you win. A2, lucky you, diplomat. Yes, you're going to have to surrender that status because you can't have a green card. So, folks, I'm out of questions. I am out of time. How are you going to get us? Email us, lotteryinfo@Wolsdorf. Click onto our website. We had several hundred people register today. Good luck with the lottery. May the force be with you. May you all win. And if you win, make sure you contact a qualified and knowledgeable professional. If you have questions, email me, and good luck. Lottery opens today. May you all be winners. Every year we get winners. This program works. You've got friends that won. Are you going to win? Come on, folks. It's a lottery, okay? Everybody who buys a lottery ticket always thinks they've won. Well, you haven't won until you get selected. Anyway, wonderful speaking to you all. Well, I've been speaking to myself. Until next time, thank you so much, and may you all win the lottery. Bye.